Hello and welcome to Excel video 299. I'm Nate Moore. I'm sending this video to you from Phoenix, where I'm in town to speak for the Radiology Business Management Association. There are sessions today on pivot tables, of course. There's a session on using conditional formatting to do-it-yourself dashboard, an interactive session where you can bring your laptop and follow along. There was also a session on data mining, what you ought to be looking for in your data, how to get it out of your system, and then once you've got it out of your system, some thoughts on what to do with it. If I haven't spoken to your organization lately, I'd love to. I thought about skipping ahead to get to where I want to go talking about calculations, and I thought, no, I'm going to, rather than do all this stuff behind the scenes and just magically appear with where I want to go, just kind of as a review, I'm going to tweak the pivot table on screen as a reminder of some of the things you can do. So that said, I'm going to move specialty and doctor out of my pivot table row labels and up into the report filter. I'm going to take this write-off field, the sum of allowed field. Notice how when I move them to the pivot table field, this just kind of turns into an X. They go away. I'm going to drag all these out of the way. And now I only have one value here, so I don't have sum of values here in the column labels. I'm back cleaned up, ready to go. And what I want to start with is, let's drag the date field down, and let's group these dates. You can go up here and do group. You can also right click. Here's group. We'll group by months and years and click OK. I'm going to drag the years over here, the date there, move the location there. Okay, now I'm where I want to look at my data again now. So I've got 3 years of historical data. Here's 2009, 10, and 11 by my clinic locations. And what I want to understand now in terms of calculations is, so this Kalapaki, is it up or down as a percentage of the total? You know, as I look at, well, it went from 3.8 to 3.6 to 3.5, but, you know, 15.4, 15.29, 15.3, it's kind of back up. How do my trends look? How do my locations move over time? I want to look at these locations as a percentage of the total and see how the mix of locations, or I could do mix of payers, or mix of CPT codes, or mix of physicians, or anything else I wanted to look at. How does that mix change? So what I can do is I can click here in this sum of billed area, and once I've done that, I'm going to do the drop down and value field settings. We spent all our time so far on the Summarize Values By tab. That's how we did sum and count and average in the last Excel video. Now what I want to do is spend a minute over here on the Show Values As tab. And truth in advertising, it's going to be more than a minute because there's all kinds of things you can do from Show Values As. Let's start at the top and I'll show you what I mean. From here, I can say, instead of no calculation, what I want to do is a percent of the grand total. If I click here and click OK, look what Excel's done for me. It tells me, if I go here, that Kalapaki is 8.36% of the grand total. All these add up to 100%. So my years are about a third, but now I can see the percentage that it's 8.36% of the overall total, and overall Kalapaki is 23.9% of my overall total across all the locations. So that's a start. I know it's 8.36% of the total, but I can know a little more than that. I can come over here, value field settings, show values as. Let's do the next one down. If I do percentage of the column total, let me just stop for a minute. If you're following along in 2007, these options are new and improved in 2010. You'll see some different options as we go down through here, and it'll make more sense probably in the next Excel video or two. So if you can't exactly follow along in 2007, there's a reason. They've added a bunch more features. Okay, percent of column total. If we click OK there, now what the Excel is going to do for me is it's going to tell me Kalapaki is 24.93% of the total for the year. So I went from 24.9 to 23.8 to 22. Kalapaki is going down as a percentage of the total, whereas I can see other clinics, you know, that may be going up, or Hanakapai is staying about level, and I can see all these changes as a percentage of the total by year. And I can say overall still Kalapaki is 23.9% of my overall total. I can look at it one more way. From here, we'll do percentage of the row. And so now, instead of what percentage is Kalapaki of the entire year, now what I can do is I can say, okay, now my 100% is in this column E. And so I'm saying Kalapaki is 34.98% of the 3-year period was billed in 2009, 33.16% was billed in 2010, and even less, 31.86% was billed in 2011. So again, I can see now, instead of the 100% being here and looking at it as a percentage of the year, I can look at years as a percentage of the location. See how by changing the value field settings and show values as, I can decide whether I want a percentage of the overall total, the percentage of the column, or the percentage of the row. There are all kinds of more options in here that we can talk about, and we'll continue on in the show values as section next time. Thanks for watching.